CCP gambles with 1.4 billion people. Trade war forces China to struggle. 30 million may lose their jobs. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into this video immediately. This is a suggestion via a channel member. Let's check it out. Okay.
I'm not selling anymore. It's Saturday and I only made 25 yuan today. How's anyone supposed to survive? The street is under construction again. Both ends are blocked.
You set that camera up to freak out.
I heard the construction will take 3 months. What am I supposed to do with all this inventory? It's almost the end of the month. I still have car loans and a mortgage. Thousands of yuan to pay. Isn't this just pushing people to the edge?
It is. That was the point of this.
I've been unemployed for over 10 days now. Over 10 days.
Okay.
It's okay, it's okay. You'll find something.
I just feel like I can't find a job anymore. It's really, really hard. It's like finding a job now is almost impossible, and even getting an interview is super hard. Most of the time, I can't even book one. And sometimes I wonder, is 28 years old already too old to be wanted? Even when I manage to get an interview, the companies aren't that great.
Of course
and
not.
even for not so great companies, they still don't want me. Honestly, I feel totally lost right now. I don't know what to do.
I think we need to actually, I think they specifically need to most likely look insular, right? And speak to the government in Beijing and say, listen, hey guys, we need to start focusing on maybe potentially ourselves a little bit, right? Allow us to actually make more than $280 a month, guys, right? Maybe we need to figure out these things here, and then so they can have somewhat of a sizable savings, and then they can probably start their own businesses internally, and then they can start, thriving. Let's say here, guys. I'm not a callous individual. I understand exactly, kind of what's happening here. But guys, where were the cries and tears and all of this stuff? 30, 40 years ago, when you basically strong armed American manufacturing? Where's it at? Show me those videos, guys. I want to see them.
我家有3个大学生。
In my family, we have 3 college graduates, and all 3 of us are unemployed. I'm looking for a job in Tianjin. My sister is looking in Zhengzhou. My brother is looking back home. I worked in Beijing for 5 years before coming to Tianjin. I came here last year to prepare for grad school exams and started job hunting this February.
And they're still
haven't found
protesting,
anything.
guys.
My sister worked in Beijing for 3 years, then went to Zhengzhou to find work. It's been 2.5 months and nothing. My brother worked in Hangzhou for 2 years, and now he's looking in Zhengzhou too. Actually, he's trying all over the country, but still can't find anything suitable. The government says the unemployment rate is 5%. Where does that number even come from?
It's definitely going to be higher than that as the weeks and months progress until Xi Jinping actually comes to the table, guys.
In my family, it's basically 100%. Maybe it's because we haven't officially registered as unemployed, so they count us as flexible workers. I really don't know, but honestly, I look around and all I see are unemployed people.
This new tariff war might really be the final straw that crashes manufacturing, especially for all the contract factories. You can look it up. A lot of factories have already shut down and run off.
Yeah,
That's
to
right.
Cambodia,
The
Vietnam.
factories are gone.
Yeah.
So seriously, don't complain if the wages are low right now. Just take what you can and hang on. At least make sure you can still put food on the table, right?
感觉都要撑不下去了。
I feel like I can't hold on anymore. I've been sitting here in this spot for a long, long time. I have 2 kids, their school fees, their food, their clothes, plus all the household expenses. My husband doesn't have any income right now, and he keeps asking me for money. I'm still trying to learn new skills myself, so I don't have any income either. And my husband still has 2 insurance payments he has to make. It feels so hard. I don't even know what to do anymore. Why does it feel like life keeps getting harder?
Because it
When I
is.
was little, I used to tell my mom, when I grow up, I'll make money and buy you this and that. And my mom just laughed and said, you think making money is that easy? Back then, I didn't believe her. I thought she was just joking. Now that I've grown up, I realize making money is so hard.
Yeah, guys, it definitely sounds like if your mother even realized that specifically, and you're seeing the same thing, she already knew how the future was going to basically turn out for you, then why are we trying to maintain the same, let's say, system of government? There's a thought here, guys. Again, I'm just outsider looking in here. I hear the stories. The stories are incredibly sad. I never really want a human to experience these things, right? But you have to understand that we're experiencing the same exact thing, right? Like not so large scale because you guys got more people, right? But we're definitely experiencing the same thing, basically brought on by how low they pay you guys out there is the literal reason why we're now enacting all these tariffs, right? You made it so hard, not you, not her specifically, right? But the Chinese government made it so hard to compete because you can't compete because American laborers are not going to work for 140 to $280 a month. They're not going to because that cannot do anything for the common typical American in the United States of America. So what do? Send all of the manufacturing jobs specifically there, right? You cannot do it because then Americans won't buy the products that are being made, guys. Like think of 10xing everything that you purchase on a regular basis. If you want an American to make it, you're gonna have to 10x it, the price, right? So again, companies and manufacturers, business owners, corporations cannot compete. They cannot compete with the labor prices out there, guys. I hear you, but it sounds like if she's having all these issues, I think the smartest thing to do personally is to make a change in your government. You know,
And all the money we make, where does it even go? I don't know how long it can hang on.
Brothers, you see how it is? I've been working for over 10 years and still haven't made any real money.
and that's even if they paid
Now,
you.
I don't even have a stable job. The factories don't want people like us anymore. At 40 or 50 years old,
Wow.
you're not young, but you're not exactly old either. Yet you can't even find a basic job. How are we supposed to support our families?
Yeah, because now you're getting expensive, right? The younger people are going to work for less money than you are because now you have 10 years of experience. What's going to happen? They're going to get rid of you and then bring in the people who are going to do the same job for cheap. What's going to happen is you're now going to have to move on to, I think the common typical job out there is going to be like a street sweeper, sanitation type of thing, where they get roughly $84 a month. Right, that's the option as someone ages out there, guys. Specifically, if you do not get to the bag, let's say, when you were younger, as in creating your own company to manufacture things for the United States of America. That's basically what it is here. They have a saying out in China, it's called "eat bitterness," guys, and that's exactly what they are currently at this moment experiencing.
Honestly, my heart feels completely cold. If all we do is plant crops and raise a few chickens and ducks, by the end of the year, we can't even cover the cost of oil and salt. I really don't know what to do anymore. How are regular people supposed to survive? It's so hard, man. So hard.
Yeah. Like, I feel bad,
Where did
guys.
all the jobs go?
but-
Seriously. I just don't get it. New graduates can't find work. People in their mid-30s who are doing fine are getting laid off just like it's nothing. My WeChat feed is full of people getting optimized out of jobs, forced to go to labor arbitration.
Wow.
Even in my company, just on our floor, every few days a few people disappear. Every Monday when we come in, you can see all the newly empty desks, and it's scary. They lay off a few people every week. And after laying off so many people, the company still isn't making a profit. Makes you wonder if next week it'll be my turn. I really don't get it. There are fewer people working, but finding a job just keeps getting harder and harder.
Is that the guy yelling in the background?
The US-China trade war is getting worse and worse. Tons of businesses have shut down. It's not just one or two stores closing, it's whole rows of shops going out of business. It's like a plague spreading through the streets. Everywhere you look, there are places for lease. The real economy here is in really bad shape.
There's like 5 or 6 million yuan gone here. That bigger place, that's at least 7 or 8 million lost. This whole street probably lost tens of millions. This used to be the hottest commercial spot in Shenzhen, the place all the rich people were fighting to get a piece of. Now, it's just a big joke. You look around and it's dead. Today's Saturday and there's not a single soul here. Hundreds of millions of yuan just flushed away. They used to brag this would be the biggest commercial center in all of South China, covering everything you could think of. But look at it now. This is the brutal reality of Shenzhen's commercial scene today.
兄弟们，
Do you know how many people lost their jobs in Changzhi this year?
Yeah, I mean, Americans lost their jobs since the 90s.
Do you know where all the unemployed people went? I'm telling you, the situation here is worse than you'd believe. Go check out Hero Middle Road. Places that used to be packed now have for lease signs everywhere. And this is prime real estate. I remember back then, if you wanted a storefront there, you had to pay a big transfer fee even after covering rent. Now, the shops are just sitting there empty. Forget transfer fee. People can't even afford basic rent. These days, opening a store means you're just working to pay the landlord. No wonder so many people gave up on starting businesses.
Yeah, if that was what happened, then yeah.
Even stores that opened in January
time to close
were
that up,
closing
guys.
down by April. You believe that? Some places didn't even get a chance to fully use their renovations before getting kicked out.
Wow.
Streets are basically deserted. At this point, if you're looking for work here, it's either delivering packages, food delivery, or driving for Didi ride hauling. Those are the only options because they have low barriers to entry. But even those jobs are almost fully saturated now.
Yeah, that's excessively reminiscent of the United States of America, guys. There are actually a gigantic amount of unemployed people in the United States of America. The problem is that people are doing like gig work, and gig work, I think, class still as is you're being somewhat hired, let's say, but it's like flex work, as one of the individuals said earlier here. America is in the same situation. Absolutely, there are so many people doing like Uber, DoorDash, that's Grubhub, all these things here, and it's in fact fully saturated. Fully saturated, but at least you can, do it. There's no there's a super low barrier to entry type of thing. But I would still call that unemployed. But for some reason, the government doesn't, even in the United States of America.
Everyone's just trying to survive however they can.
On April 11th, someone posted a video showing that at Guangdong's Yuehai Industrial Park, 3 factories shut down all at once because the bosses couldn't hold on anymore. They just ran away. Friends, ever since the US raised tariffs, it's like an earthquake hit all the factories here in Zhejiang. Even though our factory doesn't do export business, a lot of our upstream suppliers do, like those who make home appliances, and they haven't gotten new orders in ages. It's like orders just fell off a cliff.
They did.
Now, all those people who used to export are rushing into the domestic market, and the competition is absolutely brutal. The whole supply chain is shaking. If the upstream factories sneeze, the downstream ones like ours can barely breathe. Sure, the machines are still running, and our salespeople are all out there desperately trying to grab orders, but the market is only so big, and now 20 people are fighting over the same bowl of rice. It's heartbreaking to see.
I'm guessing that must be like an idiom or something.
Being an adult means being unhappy because you have no job, no money, and maybe even debt. You get anxious and can't even sleep at night. I used to think I had some skills, and I don't think I look bad either.
Nah.
But after I lost my job and went out looking, I realized I had no clue where to even start. It's way harder than I thought. I thought maybe I could start something small, something low cost, so I went to the night market to check it out. But when I got there, it was empty, totally dead. 6 months ago, it was packed. I drove around looking for another spot. I even saw this old guy riding a tricycle selling cold noodles, with city inspectors chasing after him. That hit me really hard. A few days later, I drove to a mall about 5 kilometers away. I thought maybe I could find a job selling clothes or jewelry. But except for the basement food court, the rest of the stores were empty. No customers, just salespeople standing around awkwardly. Then I went to the farmer's market and asked about renting a stall. The manager told me all the stalls were already full. He said the next opening would be in June during the bidding round. I asked how much the rent was. He said the good spots cost anywhere from 10 to 30,000 yuan a year, and even the bad spots cost 4 to 6,000. I then realized this isn't low cost at all.
No.
I used to think you could just pay a few hundred yuan a month and open a little stall. I was way too naive. Since
I mean, bro, but you're sitting in like a luxury car. I see the Italian red leather.
early April, the US and China have been slapping tariffs on each other. Right now, the US is taxing Chinese imports at 145%, with some goods seeing a combined rate of up to 245%.
Yeah.
China is hitting back with 125% retaliatory tariffs.
That's fine. They don't really buy much. I mean, they get the semiconductors, absolutely. Boeing, but they recently stopped purchasing Boeing. And Hollywood movies, guys.
Because of this, Chinese exports to the US have basically collapsed. A huge number of factories that used to depend on US orders have gone bankrupt or shut down. Unemployment.
Guys, how did they go bankrupt so fast? Like, were they like living on the edge immediately? Was there no float in the bank accounts to kind of mitigate these type of things immediately? No.
Soaring, and life
Bad
is getting
business,
harder.
guys.
Under the shadow of a manufacturing recession, social media is full of survival guides. More and more Chinese, especially young people, are tightening their belts. Saving money has become the new normal. Ms. He, a resident of Shanghai,
You should
said
have
in
been
an
doing that
interview
anyway.
that when she goes out, she mostly sees vegetable vendors and vegetable stores now, hardly any clothing stores. She said, at least vegetable stores still have some business, though it's not easy.
Gotta
Everywhere
eat.
you walk, even 30, 50, 100 meters, there's a veggie stand. The competition is fierce. People my age, born in the 70s, definitely aren't spending money like we used to. I'm wearing old clothes. It's too hard to earn money now. In Jing'an district, Ms. Chen said a lot of people are worried about the impact of the trade war and are preparing for hard times ahead. She said, of course we're worried. You have to plan carefully now. No one knows when things will get better. The supermarkets are mostly empty these days. Young people used to spend like crazy, but now they can't find jobs, so they save every penny. Hardly anyone eats out anymore. People just bring lunch from home.
I'm gonna be honest. That's not a bad thing. None of what the last minute or so of listening to this person speak, guys, that's not a bad thing at all. You should be looking to save as much money as humanly possible, right? You should be absolutely ready for something that happens that you cannot control. You should always be ready, right? Period. Regardless of if this was going on or not. Like if you have the ability next month to be completely broken, if you lose your job, then you are not saving adequately enough. I understand that may be easier than it sounds, guys. I get that, right? It's harder than it sounds, right? But guys, there's some luxuries that are just not needed, right? Not needed, specifically when it comes down to being able to save. And we are going to be going into moderately rough times. I'd say starting June, guys. Right? Things are going to get expensive. The reality, there are going to be a lot of assets. People are going to be selling a gigantic amount of assets on the internet, right? They're trying to get as much money liquid as possible. Coming soon, right, to a city near you guys.
A Beijing resident said a lot of small restaurants have had to shut down or suspend operations because there just aren't enough customers. She said many restaurants in Beijing have really closed down. There are a few near my house, but barely anyone goes. Some restaurants might have 1 or 2 tables filled. Sometimes it's just our family, just my son, grandson, and me eating.
Right, eat in.
Honestly, it's pretty bleak. Some places have
go
a few
out.
more customers, but it's nothing like before when the restaurants were packed with people. The drop in consumer spending is now spreading from China's southeastern coastal areas into inland provinces like Sichuan and Guizhou. In Lanzhou, a man named Kwang said people are starting to tighten their belts and save wherever they can. He said, looking at how things are going, everyone wants to save up, maybe even buy foreign currency if they can. Some are buying gold
If
as a
they
long-term backup.
can. Gold will be much smarter, specifically if you have the ability to get more than like 55K USD. Because there's only a finite amount of money you can transfer from yuan into USD or like other currencies, guys, right? Specifically coming from China, from yuan. So if you have the funds out there, go get gold, because you can basically melt that down anywhere.
But honestly, even keeping your money in the bank doesn't feel safe anymore. Who knows, if one day your savings might just vanish, or if a war breaks out, you might not even be able to take your money out. Right. Mr. Chen from Foshan, Guangdong, said he once thought the economy would bounce back quickly after the pandemic. But 3 years later,
No,
the
who would
economy
think
hasn't
that?
improved at all, and now there's a
Even
trade
worse.
war on top of it. He said, life for ordinary people is really hard. They keep saying Xi Jinping is leading the country to greater prosperity, that the military is strong, and the economy is doing great. But regular people are struggling a lot more. They talk about average income going up, but that's because a few rich people's high salaries pull the average up.
Same thing in America, right? People are like, oh, the average income is $62,000. Yeah, but you're also counting Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. You get what I'm saying? Warren Buffett. You're counting all of these people in that. Remove them and watch how it falls. Like, go ahead and Google that. Let AI basically tell you that the average income is like $36,000 or like $42,000 if you specifically exclude people that make more than $100 million a year. Guys.
It doesn't reflect what most of us are living through. Right now in China, saving money isn't just a personal choice anymore. It's become a widespread reality. A survey by Morgan Stanley found that the heavy tariffs the US placed on Chinese goods have made Chinese families even more worried about job security, income, and investment losses. According to Bloomberg, this survey was done between April 8th and April 11th, right after the US and China announced their new rounds of tariffs. It covered over 2,000 people from cities of all sizes in China. The survey showed that after the new tariffs were announced, 44% of people said they were worried that they or their family members might lose their jobs, the highest level since 2020. 38% said they were worried about losing their jobs this year compared to last year. On April 16th, Morgan Stanley's strategy team said in a report that Chinese consumer confidence has dropped to the lowest point since the pandemic started in 2022. People's willingness to spend is the weakest it's been since the lockdowns were lifted. This new round of US tariffs, with rates up to 145%, has pretty much closed the door on US-China trade. The coming wave of unemployment could be massive, possibly affecting tens of millions. Goldman Sachs estimates that around 10 to 20 million workers in China depend on exports to the US. Citigroup thinks American exports support around 9 million urban jobs in China. An American economist, David J. Huang, believes the real number of people losing jobs could be even higher, between 30 and 35 million. He explained that about one-third of China's exports go to the US. And when you have that much overcapacity, it spills over into other industries too, like textiles, clothing, electronics, packaging, shipping, and logistics. A lot of small and medium-sized companies along the supply chain could go bankrupt, leading to an even bigger wave of unemployment.
That's
it's
exactly
difficult to
what's
find a
gonna
job
happen.
nowadays. Some factories have basically never been seen recruiting workers. The government doesn't care anyway. Huang said, there will be more and more resentment in the whole society, and it will become a historical garbage time. It is indeed a very sad era for ordinary people.
Okay, guys. Listen, I don't like seeing people miserable, right? I do not, but I think I would care a lot more if people just didn't sit silent when it was happening to us, right? If that makes any sense here, guys. Um, yeah, I would. I'm telling you, I would care a lot more if if you cared at all when you were getting all the jobs, right? It was prosperity, blah blah blah, while manufacturing was basically leaving because they found a honeypot, basically a place that they could, hire people to do their bidding, so they can obviously profit more, right? By paying people pennies on the dollar to what you'd have to pay in the United States of America to manufacture the same exact product. I get it. I understand everything around it, but it still doesn't change my overall opinion, bro. I would have honestly went harder. I keep saying this every time you guys send me one of these videos, which definitely seems to be on a daily basis nowadays, guys, right? I definitely think that you should have went 400 to 1,000%. All right, because if you see this right now at 100%, imagine how fast Xi Jinping would have to basically come, running to the White House. Imagine, because now all of the people are like, okay, no, this can't work, because there's still some companies that are absolutely exporting from China. It is what it is, guys. All right. Um, because I'm guessing the product itself is cheap enough to basically still maintain a decent price, let's say, for the buyer, guys. That could be it. Right? But other than that, yeah, I would have went harder. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe, guys.